All right, Sketch72. It's been a while for me, so we'll see how well I do, how much I can remember. I might be fumbling about in this one a little bit, trying to get my bearings. So I thought it would be cool to start with a simpler. I've got this sine wave preset for the simpler, and I'm going to load the one in from our project folder. So we got that linked up there to the project folder. I like starting out with sine waves. Oftentimes it's just such a simple starting point that doesn't, I don't know. There's something about simplicity for me that really helps drive ideas. Maybe there's a whole philosophy surrounding that. So I am just literally playing in some randomness. That's the fun thing about these sketches. I feel like I don't really have to have much of a direction to begin with. I can just, be really random and add in some generative probability and see where we get. Let's try some short little notes or more textural sounding. This could just be a total disaster. It wouldn't be the first time. Cool. It's got a very playful sound to it already. So maybe that's just the direction we'll end up going in. Almost reminds me of some old video game style music. Oh, looks like we maybe transposed this accidentally. If I hit the auto hotkeys on the wrong view, it can really mess things up as we've seen in the past. Let's try that again. Cool. Like, I love automating the attack on things. It gives like a nice variation between percussive and more ambient or liquidy, fluidy sounding. I can imagine this floating, rotating rock, magic rock video. This music being a part of the advertisement. This rock is something for sale 200 years from now, and in some kind of, it's a hologram floating in a walkway in an airport or something, and you just pick it up in your little earpiece or whatever has been surgically implanted, and then in an alternate universe, obviously. All right, let's see. I definitely wanted to automate this. %, being full chords going through at times, and then low probability being 1 or 2 or 3 notes only at the same time. That's because 200 years from now, you definitely want to buy this rock. Maybe it's like a sentient rock with some kind of artificial intelligence, and it talks to you and keeps you company. Your very own pet rock from the future. Why not? All right, let's clean this up a little bit. I should just go ahead and make a version that has a limited range of notes. Let's see. What am I doing here? Obviously out of practice. Okay. And one of my favorite tricks, give it a octave boost and automate that octave boost to only happen every so often. I would hope in the future all commercial music is generative like this. So you could watch that commercial over and over again and you wouldn't get so sick of the music. I suppose the best commercial music composers would figure out ways to make it hooky, but also different every single time. Once they have complete deepfake synthesized voices, that will be entirely possible. I guess we have the Vocaloid plugin or whatever these days. All right, let's automate that. But the Vocaloid, of course, you know, is a cool effect, but still, like those deepfake videos, you can just tell it's really hard to fake actual organic, real-life humanity. I like this strange random little blippy jumbles that come from this delay automation effect. We should probably play with this filter also. And let's see, width. I one time once challenged myself to see how much different sounds could I get from just a digital sine wave in a simpler. And honestly, you know, you do end up with a specific sound, but honestly, you can get a lot of variation just from messing around with crazy arrays of MIDI notes and automating all the controllers inside of the simpler and automating all the controls on your MIDI notes. And the reason why I did that was because I have this really old computer and I wanted to see if I could create a live set just with that low processor, low RAM. Totally doable. It takes a lot of imagination though. And of course you have to be okay with the sound of things being a little bit limited. that I was actually very surprised at what I could do with just not using samples, only using, I mean, the only sample being like the sine wave in the sampler. Let's try automating some of these. Sometimes you get really wild textural sounds from automating the start and end points and the loop lengths on the sampler. Especially when you have a sample in there that's this small. It literally is just a few cycles. And as you can hear, or not here, for Christ's sake. Been recording for so long without any audio. 11 minutes of silence. What a disaster. Well, I'm just going to keep it in there. You know, if nothing else, just to prove that, hey, you know, mistakes are just a part of the game. I guess I could restart recording this, but I kind of like leaving in the mistakes. I'll just put a note in the YouTube video footnotes letting people know, skip to 11 minutes in to start hearing sound. It's like the equivalent of Bob Ross doing a painting where he was actually not using any paint. And that would be trippy. Okay. I actually have recorded videos in the past where 30, 40 minutes in, I realized, oh my gosh, the sound of this is not actually going through at all, and I had to completely restart recording. Let's group this and drop in another simpler. And we can kind of get a sense of oh, that sounds neat. I like those two stacking together. You've got one normal one, and then this one has got all the length and start points of the loop being animated. Let's try some Rezo Beast in there. Cool, maybe not. We'll come back to that if it didn't immediately strike me. I do feel rusty on this whole sketch thing. You take a week off of something, and sometimes it's like, it's not always just like riding a bike. All right, so let's get this sample here linked up. That way we've got everything kept in the same project folder. Cool. Let's start on a new thread here. And I'm just going to make a series of notes here. You can probably imagine where we're going with this. And in here, I'm going to play with the probability of the notes in the clip. I can find that. I know you're in here somewhere. There it is. Chance, and we'll just go ahead and randomize that. select, I think we need to select everything. There we go. And let's do the same with velocity. I guess I'm on the track in this sketch to try and figure out how much we can do with just the simple sine wave and a delay effect. Yeah, maybe we'll just see how far we get with that. Obviously our sound will be limited, but you will end up with a sound very similar to what was really popular around 2000 amongst several labels. That kind of micro sound was a big thing. I really enjoyed a lot of those releases back then. Some of them were a bit like glitched out. Not always a bad thing, but honestly, my ears got really tired of those sharp clicks. I do like, you know, running some sharp clicks through, say, like a filter. You get a sort of smooth, rounded edge to them. I think that kind of gives them a buttery or smoother feel. All right, I'm gonna add an auto pan here. Forget the rule of just using delay and a sine. I guess we could automate a volume, you know, here to do something similar to what this tremolo is. We could do both. Just select this and make a sine wave. I hope somebody one day comes up with a Max for Live device that would just create a whole bunch of these sine waves. I suppose there's probably a way to do it with auto hotkey. It'd be cool to have a sine wave generator that would do a kind of a stagger, or you know, where you got a longer one and a slightly shorter one and a slightly shorter one than that. Now let's pull this up. I don't want to go completely down. There we go. I do like that sound there. We could add a little bit of a bass blip every now and then. I could hear that in there. Love some of the tonal stuff that can come off of a delay effect with a filter set like this, and then kind of like the corpus a little bit. I think it's the same carpless strong principle of using delays and filters in an array. You can get some very cool physical modeling going that way, if you know what you're doing. Awesome. kind of fun. Play with this filter also. That'll add some more variation into that sound. Almost like a sound run through pipe. Metal textural feel, which kind of fits the video in a way because it's very computer generated. Gosh, this music really makes me want to buy that magic rock in the video. See, I think we're doing a good job. If you're a commercial musician, you learn how to make music sell stuff. It's kind of the worst. But then you can say, oh, I make music for a living. How far are you willing to go to say you do something cool for a living? Well, you know, I'm here to say it's almost worth selling out a little bit. It's my dirty little secret. Yeah, I'm an artist at night and a commercial musician during the day. I suppose no shame in putting food on the table in whatever way that needs to be. Hopefully, and I think all that matters is that it is just some way that, you know, doesn't make you want to jump off a bridge. That is easier said than done. Hard to find a gig that isn't a little soul-sucking every now and then. I guess that's, for me, it's been the balance. Is finding a job that is only soul-sucking just every so often. Because every job is going to be like a little bit of that. Unless you're just that lucky 0.001% who doesn't have to work or has a job that it literally is not soul-sucking or annoying ever. Good luck with that. Cool, I kind of like shifting between these two algorithms here. The repitch gives it kind of a playful, old school vibe, as that was sort of the delay sound for the longest time. The 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Until computers took over. And now all the developers are, let's get back to making things sound like that old school analog sound. Honestly, I do like the resurgence of analog sounding plugins. There's not very many developers who really pull it off. UAD, they get it. Of course, their stuff is incredibly expensive. Fuse, Audio Lab, they make some really great sounding warm vintage analog sounding stuff. Most of us, though, don't even know really truly what vintage analog sounds like. I mean, you really got to sit there with a lot of those types of pieces of gear, listening very closely to really understand what that sound is. And to be honest, you know, I haven't found, like, UAD is probably the only set of plugins I found that come close to pulling off, to fooling, you know, the ear into that this is some really warm, organic, life of its own kind of sounding plugin. Man, they take a lot of CPU, even with their Shark processors. But to be honest, I think most music out there that ends up on the iPhone or played through Spotify, which, let's just face it, is really where all the music ends up for most people. You can't really tell the difference between super analog plugins. A lot of times you can't, I mean, think about it. So many great albums were made ages ago with plugins that were just not that great. They at least they faked it well. But for me, I think a combination of hardware and software is the way to go. Best of both worlds. But I think in the last 5 years, I've noticed plugins getting to the point where like you really don't even need hardware. You can pull off a really lovely organic analog sound with just plugins. Softtube, man, they make some really smooth sounding, beautiful sounding analog style plugins. All right, let's get some filters. Oh, hey, filterjam, quite the bite. Let's pull down the gain into that. A lot of distortion plugins, I like to do this thing where I pull down the gain going in and then boost the gain going out back to whatever, plus 16 in this case. And you get different, if it's a well done distortion, which audiothing does really well, or saturations and distortions, you'll get a different character at different gains sent into the plugin, just like how real transistors or tubes or whatever would behave. So I like this subtle kind of subtle style. I think we need a bit of reverb. Gosh, I really do love what filterjam brings to the table. I can't believe they give it away for free. No, I think I'm gonna try to put a compressor and with a ratio of infinity, it basically turns the compressor into a limiter, which is nice because it's essentially like you can have a limiter that has 0 latency, and you got more control over the knee and stuff. The limiter built in also works. It's fairly smooth. Honestly, besides the ozone maximizer, this Loud Max plugin is the best sounding, for totally free limiter. Essentially, you can be used as a maximizer, as it boosts stuff the more you pull this down, or you can just leave it, slightly. You can leave it up at 0 and have this turn slightly there, and it'll limit it essentially, and it's way smoother sounding than this built-in Ableton limiter. The Fabfilter limiter also sounds like all Fabfilter plugins, just fabulous. All right, we need a bit of reverb. Thank God for the new hybrid reverb, sounding just superb. Okay, our beat did not really turn into a beat, it's more like a texture. Well, it's got a bit of a percussive quality, I suppose. Percussive texture. And it sounds really nice through that filterjam. Okay, let's try another sine here. And I think if we really wanted to get some like kind of fuzzy white noise texture here, we could turn the attack and decay way down. And we could play a zillion notes at once through this thing and get just a sweet crackle kind of. I'm just spamming the MIDI keyboard. We could grab all these notes. Certainly, let's do the chants and velocity as well. God, I freaking love these new features. And let's just, while they're all selected, let's just grab them, click and hold, and then hold down Control. Oops. Don't want to fold them. I think I want more of these here. Let's push our simpler to the limit. And let's... I'm going to quantize everything to 132, just the endpoints. Maybe, let's see. It's not really what I wanted. I wanted to shorten everything at once. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm not going to futz about. That's enough futzing about. We could do all kinds of things with this crackle. Now let's try some of the filter options. That's a glassy kind of shine with this high pass. And that's just the clean. Some of these sound a lot better too. Let's throw this, our limiter here. For now, I think we'll take this one out. And I want to hear what our filterjam will sound like in here. Very glassy. It reminds me of when I was doing Foley for one game, and there were these glass dice that had to be thrown on like a stone surface, so I needed to play with a lot of little pieces of glass. And it's very close to this sound here. Okay, cool. I want to pull in a Max device we had used once that I adore. Let's see, it might be, let's see, auto dial, I think. Yes. Now let's try to map it to, let's map it to the frequency here. I think we have to click this first and then hit map. And then let's pull these down. This sets the length for our recording time. And then click the record button. You can see it controlling the frequency knob over there. Cool. And now it should just automatically rename this filterjam frequency, so we can easily track that down later if need be. All right, let's drop in a new sine wave, and let's play with a maybe a lower. I'll take it. definitely make this chance not 100%, but this one will always fire off. Oh, very physically modeled sounding texture there. I didn't really want the amp. I think what I wanted was the tremolo, but let's turn it back into an auto pan. Put a couple of these in a row. So with all these different rates, it's going to be a lot more generative sounding. Cool. Let's see what happens when we play with good old vocoder. And let's pull sound from maybe our tonal track. Not sure what'll happen here, maybe too intense. I think what I need to do here is let's put this in its own container and put a limiter compressor turned into a limiter right after it. There we go. Let's definitely animate these. Nice. I think this vocoder is adding like a really weird, kind of almost gloopy digital sound, robotic. Oh yeah, there's that robot voice. Very unpredictable and strange, which I love. The weirder, the better. Okay. Let's play with this frequency just a little bit. Let's get another auto controller here. I think we've got do we have an audio version of that? Clip automation recorder indicator. No. Okay, so, oh, this is a MIDI track, so I guess we can just go ahead and use our MIDI effect. And let's... Doesn't look like it mapped it properly. I don't know what LD2 is. Let's try this again. Okay, frequency. Now that's looking correct. Cool. Now I don't like how it sort of bends up there. The lovely thing about this Max effect is we've got this draw button here, and it opens up this, so we can just draw in our desired LFO. And you have to hit this draw button again. If we hit this X, it's like just in the background somewhere, so we really want to like hit the draw button. We can automate this smooth as well. This will give us a little bit more variation in that LFO. I guess you could kind of call it an LFO in a way. It's like a drag to create type LFO. Let's pull this down to -20. Cool. I like this mode here, just only on a little bit, I think. That's interesting. Maybe that'll only turn on every now and then. Now I'm just curious what might happen if we create like a sort of rhythm. I don't know what that rhythm is supposed to sound like yet. Flying by the seat of our pants here. Cool. Not all songs need a rhythm, but it's fun to just sort of poke around and play with the idea of one. Rhythms are fun. They help create a sense of life and motion and things progressing and moving forward, I guess. I want to play with this variation here. Cool. Automating the note delay is always nice for some strange, odd type of rhythms. And maybe we'll turn this off and on every now and then. This song has definitely taken on this sort of this modular sound. Sort of a modular type of sound, or at least some songs that I've heard. It reminds me of one artist, goes by the name of Hippies Wearing Muzzles. If you could believe it. Oh, hey. We're gonna pause this and restart. I don't know what I did to kill the vibe, but we'll bring it back. All right, hold on. And we're back. Oh. Okay, and now we're back. That was funny. And I had crashed live at least 4 or 5 other times after hitting pause that last time, and I couldn't figure out what the heck was it that was maybe causing that. So as I was thinking, well, you know, the only thing that I had brought in and started using that I hadn't really used at all in the past was the note echo effect, which is built into Live 11 now, and I had automated a bunch of things on it, and now that I've pulled it out and done a few tests, Live does not seem to be crashing. So that is always kind of one of the banes of the digital stuff, is you have so many great options, but bugs, you know, and crashes. I will say, where analog stuff is superior, you know. Of course, I don't know how many shows I played with analog gear where there was just a bad cable, or a cable that literally just started acting up in the middle of the live set. It's always right when you're in the middle of performance when things start to glitch out or crack out. But anyways, I pulled that note echo out, and no more crashes, knock on wood. It's been a bit of a train wreck of a sketch today, so thanks for bearing with me. But hey, good thing is these are free, and you're not paying for this garbage. So okay, let's try to put in this our second arpeggiator, and I want to automate that. I think I'm just about done here. I think dealing with all those crashes and all the mistakes today, it's like, I don't know if I have the stomach to go very long, but that's okay. We're almost to the hour mark anyway. You're thinking, thank God. I can't believe I just sat through all this crap. Cool, okay. And then did we record any of this? Yes, all right. So let's link that and just pull it slightly off the grid here, and then I want to just turn this thing on and off every so often. It's kind of arbitrarily drawing in some stuff here. I kind of love to do this. It reminds me of when I used to draw a lot and sketch that way. Sometimes you almost just sort of go by feeling, and a thing I love about doing that here in this realm is you can always go back and change stuff that, you know, it's easy to undo or just go back and tweak it. Whereas working with graphite and oils or acrylics, you know, trying to fix stuff is a whole other ball game. Not super easy. So you kind of really do have to sort of think ahead a lot in there. But here it's great. You can kind of almost just be mindless about certain things and then get good results. All right, let's turn this thing on and off every now and then. I would love that we can automate just about everything. And let's try to drop in. Well, okay, so we have all these old racks that I made that I've been bringing into these sketches. Let's see, let's try some static in here. I'll move this over into our sound generators texture section. Static, yes. Let's see what this sounds like. Guessing this is an auto running. It's pretty gnarly sounding, not necessarily in a good way. So let's drag this over into a MIDI track. I love using MIDI tracks because we can just double click and get this dummy clip for free. Okay, let's bust out our nifty auto dial. Drag these down to make an arbitrary length, arbitrary-ish. Click that, and then hit the map button. I don't know why it defaults to LD2, but on the second try it seems to work. So it's a glitch in the patch. So we only got this turning on every so often, and we have to, now I'm realizing after all these crashes, we definitely have to save or this mapping gets lost. But now that I've saved, it's saved the mapping in the ALS file somewhere. Okay, let's see what's happening in here. Pretty basic. And let's get another one of these. Call this static on off. Static gain. Maybe I'll hit the D map first and then I'll try mapping. Do that. Gain, legacy. Alright, cool. That works for me. And let's pull these down. 127, 127 is the max length that you can work with in here. We could just literally just draw this. I don't know. And let's just hit play. I don't know what this is going to sound like. I guess we have an inner working between this on and off here and this gain here. Cool, let's see what other... Got space bugs. Yeah, what is that? We'll find out, I guess. Let's make ourselves a MIDI track and drop space bugs. Sounds pretty dumb, actually. But, you know, for texture-wise, I think it's okay. Let's save. And let's just, I do kind of like how simple this piece is turning out. Kind of minimal. Alright, let's clear that. Demap. Move this around, and then there we go. I think I want to try a filter jam right in here. I like the subtle distortions for sure. Now let's pull in an LFO. Let's see. This is the one. And lock it to the tempo. Cool. Do love some of the lo-fi quality we can get out of the new Redux. Much nicer than the old one. I wish they would give some of the same update treatments to other ones like the erosion and the grain delay. Could use a bit of an update for sure on those. Classic sounding plugins though at this point in time. Now let's give a quick listen to a fifth. Now let's bring that in only ever so often. I'm glad we're not getting those crashes anymore, but it's fun to locate the source of it so quickly anyway. There are definitely some crashes that take me months to suss out. And so once I suss it out, it's like I can report the bug or at least know how to avoid it so I don't get the same problems down the road. Well, now we gotta play with this attack, I think. Overall, just using the simpler and a basic, super basic sine wave, I feel like we've gotten a somewhat complicated textural sound rather quickly. Of course, we did cheat a little bit and bring in that static and space bug stuff, but it's good to have racks like that just at hand to help us sketch along quickly. Instant gratification is really an important thing to master, to where you can get quality along with instant gratification. If you can learn how to do that, I think you can sketch pretty well at that point. Sketching, I think, is all about getting fun, good results, doing it fun, and making it easy and fast. I had this class in college when I was studying to be a painter in college, and they had us doing these 10-15 minute sketches, these really like speed sketches, portraits of people. You get to sit in the middle of the class for 10 to 15 minutes while everybody sketched you, and then you would switch it up and be doing the sketching most of the time. That was kind of fun and challenging. And I remember we all really sucked in the very beginning, and it took us like after a semester of doing that, you know, we do like somewhat 10 sketches during a class, you know, a couple of times a week for 3 or 4 months. And by the end of it, it was really just night and day how good we all got. Let's see, so we can do all kinds of mappings here. Maybe we'll map to this, but not let it go that low. Just adding a little extra something. Maybe we'll map to the emphasis, but we'll give it an opposite range. Wish we could automate these ranges. That would be cool. Let me see if I group this. Do I get that option to map? Nope. Something to think about for a future modification of a pre-existing device. Okay. We could do some big broad stroke adjustments. Such as some of these crazy effects boxes. We're only clocking at 33%. You know, we got plenty of room to play with some big. Not really, I think, what I'm looking for. But as a jumping off point, not hard to open this thing up and just mess around with some of the stuff inside it. Like if we move it around in our chain, I'm thinking maybe before this vocoder. And how about our LFO? I like a random with some smooth in there. Smooth random. And let's automate the rate of that. And definitely automate the depth. Whoops. Some of the grittiness coming off of that Cthulhu effects box, really in my mind it matches up kind of well with the grit and texture of that rock in the boring video. Or 200 years from now, that is a psychic pet rock that will be for sale and very popular. It will, at least for 10 minutes, have an extreme popularity amongst the 40 billion people occupying planet Earth at that time. And this song that we're making here is going to be the music for the advertisement, the holographic advertisement for this psychic pet rock. And each one will be different, so you order your own psychic pet rock. It looks different. It is custom tailored to your psychic imprint that, of course, everybody's psychic imprint will be on file, and you just blink an eye as you're walking through the tunnel in the airport, and the advertisement for psychic pet rock, you know, only 4 million, whatever the currency is then. And you just think a thought, and then it shows up at your door as soon as you get home. That's our narrative for today. All right, let's clean this up just a little bit. Do our diligence. Whoa. All right, just hitting random hotkeys at this point. Cool. Psychic Pet Rock. Only 4 million currencies. Universal currencies. On sale 200 years from now. Extremely popular for only 10 minutes. Can you tell I've been reading way too much sci-fi lately? Alright, let's see. Cthulhu Effects Box 5 Dry Wet. There we go. I think I maybe even need to pull this range down just a little bit so we don't get quite as much of the wet sound of this effect. There we go. It's a little bit subtle. And then I think we can also right click and modulate this. So we get a dual thing happening with modulation and automation mapping. Yeah, it looks like you can see that moving there. Cool. All right, folks, I think that I'm gonna call it on this one. It's been a rough one, but then, you know, after taking a couple weeks off or whatever from sketching, you know, I'm not surprised. We have a bit of a train wreck one, but the lesson therein is that, hey, mistakes are just a part of it and always something to learn from them. I mean, if you're not screwing up somehow, you're not really living. You're not learning anything. Cool. So as always, keep it weird. Keep it fun. Just keep on keeping on. Until next time.